Cool. Sanbonani, hello. My name is Andile, photographer based in Johannesburg, living and working in Johannesburg. So for me, photography started in my matric year in high school. My friends and I were all going our separate ways, university, gap year and stuff like that. I decided to take my dad's 35mm camera and started photographing my friends. It was a really classic camera, 2000 DN, I think, Canon camera. And it was snapshots, basically. It was something like that, chilling on the grass in school, friends. I didn't know really that this was going to be something I would do like professionally later on. So I did these kind of images for like 3 to 4 years, not knowing really what I'm doing. So then lomography was introduced, fell in love with it, started playing around with the cameras, Diana F+, multiple exposure, and yeah, I just started experimenting with different.
What did you find yourself shooting? Mostly just people? I know you shoot a lot of architecture and people and just moments.
Yeah, so a bit of both. Street style, architecture, people, portraits, anything in between that I saw, whether I'm commuting to university or on the weekend with friends, I would photograph really. And yeah, and that was it then. It was nothing important, nothing that I would take as a career. I was just documenting, and that was it.
And then where did you find that you started focusing on photography in a more commercial sense, or maybe a more professional sense almost, when you started thinking? I know you studied marketing at UJ.
Yeah.
Worked in advertising for a bit, realized that's not really where you want to be.
Yeah. I think in university, even though I was in the marketing department, I was always in the Faculty of Art and Design. So I used to buy art books, check out the exhibitions, pretty much follow like the latest artists or what's happening in the art scene. But I never saw myself being involved either as an artist or whether a curator or anything like that. I was just consuming a lot of that. I think my first job after university in an agency, I got introduced to copywriters, designers. Yeah, those guys, I was like, what, you studied this thing, like graphic design? This is really cool, So those guys actually, I started hanging around with most of the time, and on the weekend I would go and shoot. Then I'll come back, on a Monday and say, look, this is what I got up to, what do you think? At that time, Behance was the thing, was my Bible. So I used to check a lot of projects on Behance. And this was pretty much my first project after lomography and plastic cameras. I got myself a Canon A1. I consider it a professional camera.
How old were you?
I was 22. Yeah, and it was like, okay, this is cool. I can go with it. And this was my friend basically. She did a text about feminism and her body, and I was like, okay, I'm going to help you to do like images, and that led into many body of works. And that project actually, I think for me that's how I started everything. Like trying to create projects on my own without anyone, no influence. Just creating bodies of work. And since then, I've been trying to do that over and over and over again, up until like stuff is, I'm not gonna do my 9 to 5 anymore. I'm gonna like pursue like a career in photography and see how far I last or where I can take it. And I've been doing that. This is my second year, full-time freelance photographer, and it's been great.
Any photographers that you feel have influenced you a lot, or guys whose work you follow on a regular basis?
So in Joburg, there's a school called Market Photo Workshop. Sabelo Mlangani's work, Musang Malo, those are the guys who actually influenced me quite a lot in terms of the bodies of work and what they shoot. Obviously before them, because they're a lot younger, guys like Peter Makubane, those are the sort of like legends, and Rushabang, you know, I think those are the guys who sort of like have an influence on, because I think also those are the images that are, when I got into photography, those are the photo books that I bought, you know. So I would say the photographers I mentioned are the guys who influenced me quite a lot on my work.
And then through shooting film and then lithography and then the Canon as well, did you kind of find what you like shooting? I mean, has it always been a bit of architecture, a bit of portraiture, a bit of this, or is there something that you feel draws your attention or that you're drawn to mostly in terms of the subject matter of
obviously, I moved from the architecture crappy images, I would say, to more, not really considered to the T, but I actually knew what I wanted to create, how it should look like, even though it was decided on the day, but I exactly knew how I want the image to look like. Obviously, shooting film, I don't get to see, but in my head, you know, I had the vision, you know, in terms of how I want everything to. I still do, you know. I mean, last week there was an announcement of the Canon 1V or something like that. I was like, stuff that. I'm not gonna bother. I have a system that works, you know. It's working for me, and I'm fortunate to apply what I do from a personal level to the commercial jobs, which is quite and not an easy thing to achieve, you know. But obviously it comes with years and years of just pushing and like doing it.
And then starting freelancing as a photographer about 2 years ago, what was the first job you landed?
First job I did, you mean last year? Actually, it was a year before that. I shot something for Apple. This was like a mobile for their website. They wanted to create some content for the event they were creating. That was like my first gig.
How did you get it?
I got through Instagram.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did you get a lot of work through Instagram?
Not a lot, some work.
And then do you find you curate your Instagram for that particular reason?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, obviously I have a certain style, you know, that I like, and I would like to present like my images a certain way, what speaks to me, but I wouldn't say I curate them to get clients, you know, just basically my personal style and projects that I like putting up.
And this?
This for me changed quite a bit. I mean, after I created this work, Adidas contacted me. They were like, hey, we like your project.
Was this just a personal shoot?
Yeah, this is 2014. This body of work is still being shown all over, which has been great. I think if you mention my name, this is the only work people remember me for, you know. You mention any other project, they're not interested. I think, I don't know, you know. So it's this work and that. It's like, you know, these are the main projects that people actually like me to show over and over again, which is, I don't have a problem with that. But
do you find that you have the ability to take your personal style into your commercial career now?
Yeah, now I have sort of like an upper hand. Obviously, you try and convince clients the best way to do it is film, you know. Even though the costs are a lot higher than digital, you know, and they wait a couple of days, you know, turnaround time. But slowly I'm persuading them, be like, hey, what do you think? You know, shooting it black and white, what do you think? Shooting this, you know, medium format, I think it will look cool, you know. So it's just small, you know, tweaks here and there. It's not an easy thing, obviously, because they so used to having everything on set. With an art director, you see images now, you know, you get to upload images, like stuff now, edit, retouch, like everything, select everything now, you know. Whereas with film, it takes quite quite a while to get that process together.
So how much of your commercial work do you shoot on film, if you have to?
Now I would say 90% of it I shoot on film.
And the clients that you're shooting for, you're shooting on film for?
Levi's, Adidas, a bit of magazines here and there in Josie. Yeah, so I'm planning to do more of that. It's just not an easy thing, you know. I just need to build as many bodies of work or commercial work as possible in order to say, look, if you want me to shoot your stuff, I'm going to do it 100% on film. Because I think it works for me, you know, and I enjoy the process as well, you know. I don't have a problem with it, you know. Just financially, obviously, just yeah. This is like one of the jobs I did on film, and Daylight Studios here in Cape Town. It's a huge studio. They set up lights, everything, and I came in with a 35mm camera. And the guy was like, yeah, we're waiting for a guy from Joburg, he's gonna shoot some fashion stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's me, I don't need all of this. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure.
What brand was that for?
That was for Superbalist. It was really, really cool, you know. But also it takes quite a lot of convincing, because even the stylist, he wanted to see, whether he has everything to the T. I was like, no, we got this. Yeah. Don't worry, you know. So those are the kind of convincing situations you have to deal with, you know. But I really enjoyed this, all natural lights. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And I think this job actually gave me, even though I do have confidence in my personal projects, but commercially it gave me okay, I can do this, you know, I can shoot more stuff like this, you know.
Do you enjoy shooting fashion?
I do. I guess also my friends are the most fashionable people in Josie. But yeah, I do enjoy shooting fashion.
Is that something that you see yourself doing more of?
Yeah. It comes with the money, yeah, do it. So this is the vanilla work. I call it vanilla work in Joburg. I don't really like commercial work, but it has to be done, you know. Obviously you have to bring in your own influences, you know, into it. But yeah, it's just slowly I'm getting into it. Obviously it's different to everything else that I shoot, but it has its purpose, you know.
Where did you shoot this?
This was shot at Glow Studios in Josie.
Right. And do you have, when you shoot in Joburg, are you very particular about your team of stylists, makeup artists?
I don't have any.
No preference?
I go with anyone. I mean,
whatever they need.
Yeah, as long as you tell them what to do, how everything should look like. Really, it just boils down to that. I guess Stefano, I mean, he has done this over and over again. He would probably prefer a certain art director, makeup artist, stylist. You know, I'm not there yet. For now, I'm just
feeling away.
Yeah, taking it all in. Yeah, it's been great.
And in terms of agencies?
I'm not represented by one, which is great. And not so great when you don't have a paycheck end of the month. You're like, stuff, man, I could use one job right now, you know. Whether it's a wedding, you know, or couples in the park, engagement shoots, you know, anything really to pay the rent, you know. Yeah, so I do have those days where I'm like, stuff it, man, I could shoot anything right now. Then some days you have one project where you're cool with it, but we don't actually we don't have a lot of agencies in Joburg. Yeah, so maybe a year or 2 or 3 from now, I don't know. Yeah. This was my first, well, not first, but I think spotlight. You know, after doing this work, I got a lot of work after this. Obviously.
Was this for Adidas?
Yeah, Adidas ZA. Yeah, it was really cool. We presented quite a unique story to them, something that was really personal to us.
You approached them with a concept essentially?
Like a year ago, before even Farrell wanted to do something with Adidas, I think. I'm not too sure. Could be wrong. But yeah, we were quite lucky that they found us fit for what they were trying to say and what we were trying to say. So it was two parties coming together for just one single story, which was great, you know. We were able to actually play around on this. My first shoot in my own studio. Yeah, like my friends customized the bucket hats, the jackets. Yeah, it was quite cool working on this.
This?
Also another commission turned into a personal project. This was for Kashmir, TV.com. But what they presented initially and what I had in mind, I was like, okay, I think this is the best way to tell this is like this is the direction we should be taking. These are the people we should be involving.
And what was that direction? Who were the people?
Basically, they wanted to highlight or interview individuals in Joburg who are doing quite interesting things, whether it's in music, fashion, or publishing. Faga, the artist represented by Stevenson. Other one was Pendu. She runs an online magazine. And the other two was the artist, who actually I'm part of the collective. So yeah, it was really cool working on that project. You know, just trying to, when someone comes to you with like an idea and say, I think the best way to tell it is this is how we should try and tell it. Obviously, you find common ground and you run with it.
In terms of your personal projects, have they all been going on for quite a while, or are you still embarking on some new ones?
So Crossing Strangers, which was a project that I self-published last year, that was going for like 2 years. Some they go for like 2 months, some a lot longer than that. But I have quite a lot. Still shooting, still figuring out stuff. So I do more personal projects than commercial stuff or paid stuff. And yeah, I'm planning to keep that going, because I mean, a lot of people, once they have money coming in, I think they stop what they love, you know, like, or shoot, you know, they concentrate on the money side. I try to find balance. It's not an easy thing, but I try and push my own stuff over and over again, which is why I think self-publishing a project like Crossing Strangers really helped me, you know. I went to the Tokyo Art Book Fair, one of the biggest photo festivals in Asia, you know, like 16,000 people over 3 days.
Did you exhibit there?
Yeah, I'm showing this year again, next month. So it's crazy to see like 18, 19-year-olds who've been publishing since the age of like 15 or 16, you know, like zines, you know, like DIY stuff. I came back, I was like, yeah, this is great. I should print more stuff on my own in the dark room. I should experiment more, you know. So yeah, I think it really opened like a whole new world to me, you know, that I was not aware of prior.
How did you get involved in the exhibition in Tokyo?
So I assisted a Japanese photographer for like 6 weeks. He introduced me to a friend, and she was like, how come we have so many photographers in Joburg, but none of them actually publish their own projects? All their projects exist in the website, you know, that's where they end up, you know. I was like, well, actually it's expensive to self-publish, you know, unless you're represented by a gallery or someone, or there's a financial backing or Kickstarter, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, you know. He's like, well, I have the resources and the connect, let's do this. So we raised a bit of money. I already had the project existing already, so I had to just continue and add more bodies of work into it, and that's how the project came about. So it's like 8 weeks of just sleepless nights, 8 months of sleepless nights and just putting this thing together. And yeah, I'm happy. Like, it's been great since publishing the book. And this year we're doing a zine with posters, postcards. Yeah, it's cool. It's really, really cool.
Cool. And if you had to choose your ideal client or ideal job to fall into your lap right now?
Anyone really who has money.
Like for real?
No, I'm joking. I don't know. Hey, like I don't know whether you know Form. They do really amazing stuff. I wouldn't mind contributing the bodies of work or creating particular work that will get published by them. But I guess ideal situation would be getting huge lumps of money and say publish your project into a book. You know, I think for me that's the biggest joy. You know, because I think with clients there's a bit of compromise. You know, even though you get to do what you want, but at the end of the day, they need to love like the product you produce. You know. Whereas with personal projects, you know, it's just like you know. So yeah, I don't really have a specific brand or someone, but yeah, as I mentioned, Form would be cool. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
This is helping out friends who have cool ideas and trying to present their stories in a way that I feel it should be. Yeah, it's just experimenting really. I don't know where I'm going with this. Just shooting really as much as I can. You know, I'm trying to present the best. You know, end of the day. Yeah, I don't really know what's happening, but.
And you're quite open to collaboration as a photographer as well.
Always. Whether you're a writer, designer, an architect, I'm keen.
Any specific people you have collaborated with in the past that you feel you really gelled with?
The past designer for my book, she was amazing. Yeah, there's quite a lot, you know, people would like to work with. I know there's quite a few people in this room I'd like to work with. He's right there wearing a cap, he's a designer. Yeah, yes, you, hello. You know, yeah, people who do their shit quite well, you know, like I would like to team up with those people and, you know, do some crazy stuff.
And Josie, photography and Josie, for us, we're all from Cape Town, and it was quite good to see that we can bring someone from Johannesburg here and kind of expose the Cape to some of the stuff you guys are shooting up there. How? Don't worry, the boss will love that.
Okay.
Yeah, how are you finding Johannesburg? Ever thinking of relocating? Or?
Not yet. I think I'm still new, still experimenting, still want to show quite a bit of Joburg, because I think in Joburg, when people speak about Joburg, they talk about like markets and rooftops. You know, they're like, yeah, I'm in Maboneng, I'm in Bram. You know, there's quite a lot in Joburg, you know, that I still also haven't checked out, I haven't explored. And even stories that are still like not told, you know. So there's still quite a lot to do in Joburg. I think we all have a responsibility as writers, photographers, architects. Yeah, we have quite a lot. There's still quite a lot to do in Joburg. You know. I think probably photographers or artists here in Cape Town would say the same. You know. But I think for me, Joburg for now is just a base where I would like to still continue producing work. Relocating, yeah, maybe Tokyo for a few months or years, I don't know, you know, because I'm big on like publishing, you know, DIY, and the photography scene in Tokyo is quite hectic. Yeah, like if we were to have something like that where we have 10 to 15 galleries that show photography, to be amazing. In Joburg, we don't have that. I don't know whether you guys have that here in Cape Town, but every single show in Joburg, it's just either you're a printmaker or like a painter, you know, or you make sculptures. There's less photography work, unless you're Zanele, under Stevenson. Even the big guys, the Goodman, they don't show photography quite a lot, like I don't, like Momo. So yeah, there's still quite a bit to do regarding photography in Joburg. Yeah, and I would like to be at the center, you know, to start doing exciting and new things.
Cool. Yeah, no, quite.
Yep. This
That
is
it?
it. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is a very simple question. It's not anything deep or complicated. I was just curious as to, since you work predominantly in film, what films do you enjoy working with? Which reels?
T-Max 400, Kodak Portra 160 or 400, SP5 Ford, Fuji Superior 200, the cheapest. I mean, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, but obviously if you want nice colors, Portra would be your best bet. Nice black and white, Tri-X, you know, if I have a bit of money. So I would say those two, Portra and Tri-X, would be my preference regarding color and black and white. Cool.
Any other questions? Sweet, dude. Thanks so much.
No questions.
Here's one.
So you mentioned you started on a A1 camera. What gear are you currently using at the moment?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
So you mentioned you started on a A1 camera. What gear are you currently using at the moment? Just curious. What form
What
cameras
gear?
What gear? What cameras are you?
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Now I use a Contax G2 and a Mamiya RZ67. Those are the two cameras I use right now.
Andile, one question here. My brother, like that picture, for example, there. Yeah,
The last
ladies.
one?
Yeah, that one. That's more personal work, or is that something possibly commissioned by a client?
No, this is personal work.
Personal. Okay, cool. So my question is, when you've got work like that, you know, I suppose you got approached for because that's essentially your imprint, that's you,
Yeah.
right there, that's your eye, that's how you see, that's how you feel, so you design your photos around that. When a client comes to you and says, we found you on Instagram and we love what you did there, how much of the time do you find that you still have the freedom to do this while endorsing whatever it is that they want you to endorse, and how much of that gets lost in trying to reproduce your own work according to someone else's standards?
I never actually tried to duplicate what I made personally to clients. I don't think I can achieve that. Because I think with personal projects I have constraints, which are great. You know, you have one roll of film like that. You know, you have probably during the week, like where I shot this, the school is like Monday to Friday, so I had to ask if there's someone coming in that Saturday. You know, so I had to plan all like around that, you know. So we try and work when they come to me and say they want something like that. First of all, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to show? You know, like, is it really necessary for us to recreate this? You know, all those factors, you know, play a huge role in how I'm going to present the images. But you do have occasions where people do a screenshot of an image, like, I want this, you know. But then you find like they want to showcase just like shoes, you know, which is hard to say this is like a Converse thing or a Nike, you know. Like there's no story there, like context. There's nothing there, you know. So it's I never ever try and reproduce or recreate what I did on my own to a client, you know. Rather try and bring something different to them, you know. And aesthetically, you know, obviously trying to still have my own style. Yeah, I don't know whether that answered your question. Cool.
Hi. You said that you split your commercial work 90%, 10% to film, correct? So when you get offered a commission or a job for a brand, you shoot predominantly film, yeah?
Yeah.
So
Well, lately, yeah.
So if you got offered like a big commission or a big job, would you like out of principle not shoot it if they required it to be digital or if they needed it to be digital, especially if it was like a bigger campaign?
I'll shoot them digital.
You'd shoot it digital.
Hey.
That dosh.
Yeah, it's obviously there's factors involved. I mean, I can't afford to shoot on film today and they want the stuff tomorrow. It goes to print tomorrow. You know, that's not going to be possible. But if I do have time and the budget allows me to buy film or shoot on film, usually what I do, I have like a digi and a film camera. So what I do is I will shoot the stuff on digital and film, but when I present, when I do the selects, I do the selects on film. I don't give them the digital stuff, you know. But that's when I have time, you know, like a week or 3 days to do it. But most of the time for situations like that where turnaround time is like a day or a few hours, like I need to shoot them digital. But soon that will change, I hope. Yeah.
Do you develop your own film, and if you don't, how do you feel about commercial filming?
I do some of the films myself, but not in my own. I have a friend's space. I use that for black and white. For color, I hand it over to the lab. I didn't get the last part, sorry.
How do you feel about commercial filming? Like the quality?
It's crap. Like the guys at the shopping malls or like come back in an hour, doesn't work. So what I do now is I process all the film in the lab, either black and white or color. Then I'll do low-res scans. Then I'll rent out an Imicon scanner, which is like $500 an hour. Yeah. Then I select the best ones there. I do them like high-res TIFF files. That's when I know eventually one day I'll either print them or they'll probably end up on my website. But the one I don't do the one come back in an hour kind of scans. It's just it ruins your film, number one, and some people don't do it correctly, you know. And you could have one of the most amazing photographs, but then they could be damaged or ruined.
Out of interest, Andile, where in Joburg do you process from? I don't understand that already.
There's two labs that I really trust and go to. One is RGB Pixel Lab in Morningside. And for black and white stuff, I go to Alternative Print Workshop. Dennis, he's been in the game for years. He prints Roger Bolin stuff, like hand prints. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Yeah. So those are the two labs I really trust. I'll go to there. I know my stuff will look good.
Cool. And then just off the technical side of things, sort of for me, I notice the two sort of like trends of thought I see that sort of read through your work are that of like the urban landscape of Johannesburg and that of youth culture, particularly Johannesburg youth culture. Would you say that kind of accurately sums up your like the two most important like factors of your photography, or is there something else that we cover?
I think I'm more interested in what's happening around me. The fashion stuff, like the influence comes from my friends, and like the architecture stuff comes when I'm like away from that, you know, and the portrait series comes like when I'm at home. So I would say, yeah, it is more me, but obviously it depends. The fashion stuff, I think the influence is more about like the collective that I'm part of, you know. Then stuff like this is stuff that I do by myself, you know. And the architecture, I do it when I'm out and about cycling or checking out new spots. So yeah, but it revolves around the lifestyle that I'm living and the people that I'm surrounded by on a daily basis.
Got it. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.